Indonesia is one of the deadliest places on earth for your lungs. In its capital city, Jakarta, cigarettes are everywhere. So is the smog, and together they form one of the most dangerous combinations in public health. A nation addicted to smoking, surrounded by some of the worst air pollution in the world. More than 65% of adult men smoke in Indonesia, and in Jakarta, air pollution levels routinely exceed international safety standards by 10, even 20 times. The result? You don't have to be a smoker to be at risk of lung disease. You just have to live there. Unlike much of the world, Indonesia has barely regulated the tobacco industry. Cigarette ads still dominate the skyline. Children can walk into corner shops and buy a pack. Meanwhile, coal-fired power plants surround the capital, and cars fill the streets with toxic fumes. And yet, little is being done to stop it. This is a city and a country where public health has lost to profit, where corporate lobbying keeps cigarettes cheap and regulations weak, where kids cough through their school years and parents light up at the dinner table while the skyline disappears behind a blanket of haze. In this video, we're going to take you inside the crisis. We'll show you how big tobacco built a stronghold in Indonesia, how the government let it happen, and how pollution makes everything worse. This isn't just a local issue, it's a warning to the world. Because in Jakarta, just being alive means your lungs are under attack.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride that I participate in
The Great Pyramid is arguably the most enigmatic structure on the face of the earth.
In many parts of the world, lighting a cigarette in public is frowned upon, if not outright illegal. In Indonesia, it's part of daily life, and that life often starts young. Indonesia has one of the highest smoking rates on earth. Over 65% of adult men are smokers. Cigarettes are so cheap they can cost less than a meal. In some areas, they're sold individually, just one stick at a time, making them even more accessible to the poor and to children. Walk through a market or wait at a bus stop and it's not unusual to see a boy no older than 11 puffing on a cigarette, completely unbothered. This isn't by accident, it's by design. For decades, tobacco companies have worked to make cigarettes a cultural norm in Indonesia. Through relentless marketing, slick sponsorships, and aggressive lobbying, they've crafted an image that smoking is masculine, powerful, even patriotic. Ads show men lighting up next to motorcycles, beautiful women, or the red and white Indonesian flag. The message is clear. Smoking isn't a vice, it's a lifestyle, and kids are watching. According to national surveys, nearly 1 in 5 Indonesian teens aged 13 to 15 is a regular smoker. That's not just a public health problem, it's a public emergency. Children aren't just exposed to cigarette smoke, they're targeted. Ads often run near schools. Promotional events include free samples. Even sports tournaments sponsored by cigarette brands draw in young audiences with music, giveaways, and influencers. The product being pushed is tobacco. The audience is youth. Access is disturbingly easy. There are laws on the books that prohibit sales to minors, but enforcement is weak to non-existent. In a 2022 survey, over 60% of teenage smokers said they had never once been stopped from buying cigarettes. No ID checks, no questions, no hesitation, and for many children, smoking starts at home. In households where parents smoke indoors, which is extremely common, kids are exposed from the day they're born. Some learn to light cigarettes for their fathers as early as age 5. For these children, cigarettes are not a danger. They're a fixture, a routine as ordinary as rice or school books, and the industry profits from it. In Indonesia, tobacco companies aren't just legal, they're celebrated. They sponsor national events. They partner with government ministries. They present themselves as job creators and economic engines. Despite the 290,000 tobacco-related deaths the country suffers each year, their influence is so strong that even during presidential elections, tobacco control is barely mentioned. So when a 10-year-old lights up a cigarette on a Jakarta sidewalk, it isn't a fluke. It's the result of a system designed to get him hooked and keep him there for life. Because in Indonesia, smoking isn't just common, it's expected. To understand why smoking is so widespread in Indonesia, you have to understand the machine behind it. Tobacco companies in the country don't operate in the shadows. They operate front and center with billboards the size of buildings, sponsorship deals with government ministries, and a grip on youth culture that will make tech companies jealous. This isn't just marketing, it's infiltration. The goal isn't just to sell cigarettes. The goal is to shape the public mindset so that smoking feels natural, even inevitable, and the tactics runs deep. Cigarette companies in Indonesia rely heavily on corporate social responsibility campaigns, or CSR. It's a clever move. Position yourself not as a health threat, but as a patriotic partner. Fund scholarships, renovate schools, donate to disaster relief, all with the company logo prominently displayed. To the public, it creates the illusion of goodwill, but behind that polished image is a business that kills hundreds of thousands every year. Then comes the sponsorship game, a strategy that bypasses logic and hits straight at identity. Major tobacco brands fund sports tournaments, music festivals, university competitions, and even government-endorsed innovation programs. For many youth, their first exposure to a cigarette brand isn't on a shelf. It's on a stage, at an event that feels cool, aspirational, and full of promise. And more often than not, that exposure comes with perks, free merchandise, discount coupons, and sometimes actual samples. At these events, cigarette sales are often handled by women known as SPGs, Sales Promotion Girls. Dressed in attention-grabbing outfits, they move through the crowd with branded trays and practice charm. Their job isn't just to sell, it's to entice, to make smoking feel like a ticket to adulthood, confidence, desirability. And the pressure on these workers is immense. They're often given strict sales targets, and if they fail to meet them, they face pay cuts or job loss. In a country where decent work is hard to find, many have no choice but to comply, pushing cigarettes on crowds that include children, the elderly, even non-smokers. Sponsorship even goes beyond public events. In 2024, the Ministry of Research and Higher Education signed a Memorandum of Understanding with HM Sampurna, one of Indonesia's largest tobacco firms, to fund research and university collaborations. Think about that. A government body responsible for the country's academic future, working hand in hand with a company that profits from addiction. It's not just a conflict of interest, it's a blueprint for normalization. By funding entertainment, sponsoring youth culture, embedding themselves in policy circles, and exploiting a lack of enforcement, tobacco companies have done something rare. They've made themselves look indispensable, not dangerous, not parasitic, but vital. Like they're doing Indonesia a favor. It's a facade, one paid by addiction, poverty, and premature death. You don't have to smoke in Jakarta to destroy your lungs. Every day, over 10 million people step out into the streets of Indonesia's capital and breathe in a toxic soup of microscopic pollutants. It comes from the tailpipes of millions of cars and motorbikes. It comes from garbage fires and illegal burning. And most of all, it comes from the coal-fired power plants, over a dozen of them, ringing the city like a noose. Jakarta is one of the most polluted major cities in the world. In 2023, its daily air quality index regularly surpassed the levels considered hazardous by the World Health Organization. On some days, it ranked as the single most polluted city on Earth. And this wasn't due to a natural disaster or a freak event. This was the new normal. The city's annual average PM 2.5 concentration, those deadly fine particles that lodge deep in the lungs, was more than 7 times higher than what the WHO says is safe. That means every single day spent in Jakarta's air is the equivalent of smoking several cigarettes, whether you actually light one or not. And for the millions who do smoke, that risk multiplies. Even Indonesia's president, Joko Widodo, publicly admitted to a persistent cough he blamed on the air quality in Jakarta. When the head of state is wheezing, you know the problem isn't just anecdotal. Meanwhile, the health toll keeps rising. Acute respiratory infections, (SP), spiked in 2023 with over 630,000 cases in Jakarta alone in the first half of the year. Hospitals struggle with waves of children and the elderly suffering from shortness of breath, bronchitis, and pneumonia. For many families, a simple cough no longer feels like something that will go away. It feels like a warning, or worse, a sentence. It's hard to imagine a more efficient way to wear down an entire population than to make both the air and the culture toxic. But that's what Jakarta is living through right now. And with a growing population, expanding traffic, and weak political will, there's no sign it's letting up. In Jakarta, you can quit smoking, but you can't quit breathing. Indonesia's working class income range from about $150 to $320 a month. And yet, smoking 1 to 3 packs a day is common, with cigarette prices now hovering around $1.5 to $2 per pack. That habit eats up between $45 to $180 every single month. For families on the edge, that can be half or more of their total income. This means fathers lighting up while the fridge is empty. It means children being pulled from school because there's no money for uniforms, while a stack of cigarette packs sits on the kitchen shelf. It means mothers choosing between medicine and another week of coughing because the family can't afford both treatment and tobacco. This isn't just a public health crisis, it's a poverty trap. And for millions of Indonesians, there's no easy way out. This is what happens when tobacco companies write the rules, when pollution chokes a city with no serious pushback, when addiction becomes normal and corporate profit comes before public health. This isn't an accident, it's a design. Indonesia has become big tobacco's last playground. While much of the world restricts cigarette ads, bans youth marketing, and limits pollution, Indonesia offers the industry near total freedom. And they're using it to hook the next generation openly, aggressively, and with little resistance. Across Indonesia, people are pushing back. Health workers, parents, activists, they're demanding clean air, stronger laws, accountability. But they can't fight alone, because this is more than a local crisis. It's a global pattern. And now that you've seen it, the question is, will you ignore it or will you act? Because in the end, this isn't just about smoking, it's about what kind of future we're willing to breathe into existence. If you like this type of video, please subscribe, or you can watch the other video here and this video. See you guys in another video. Bye-bye.